Welcome all. This is Gauri. Today I am going to talk about fundamentals of financial management. In this topic I will explain about important functions of financial management, objectives of the firm, profit maximization versus wealth maximization, basic concepts, time value of money. In time value of money, I will explain compounding and discounting techniques, concept of annuity and perpetuity, risk and return relationship. What's mean by finance? Finance is the lifeblood and nerve center of a business, just as circulation of blood is essential in the human body for maintaining life. Finance is very essential for smooth running of business. No business, whether big, medium, or small, can be started without an adequate amount of money. Then we are going to see about what is the financial decisions. Investment decision, financial decision, dividend decision. Then scope and elements of business. In investment decisions includes investment in fixed assets called as capital budgeting. Investment in current assets are also a part of investment decision as called as working capital decisions. Then financial decision. They relate to the raising of finance from various resources which will depend upon decision on types of source, period of financing, cost of financing and the returns thereby. Then third one is dividend decision. The finance manager has to take decision with regards to the net profit distribution. Net profits are generally divided into two: dividend for shareholders, dividend and the rate of it has to be decided. Retained profit. Amount of retained profits has to be finalized, which will depend upon expansion and diversification plans of the enterprises. Then we have to see about the objectives of financial management. Profit maximization and wealth maximization is the objectives of financial management. Profit maximization is the measuring of rod. It increases the value of shares, goodwills, value of firm and needs to attract the further investments. If you are see about the advantages means it is the sign of growth, it is the threats to competitors, more employment opportunities, it increase the national income and welfare of the company. If you are seeing about the disadvantages means employees will be overburdened. Real profit will not be disclosed. It's hidden for more tax purpose. Price of the product increases. Consumer exploitation. Then we have to see about the wealth maximization. It's a narrow thought. It increases the individual assets or wealth of investors. Shareholders increase the assets or create wealth from the return. It's a one side growth. If you are seeing about the advantages means investment and reinvestment on business happenings, new business, more employment opportunities, economic development. If you are seeing about the disadvantages means rich become richer and poor become poorer. Then we have to see about the time value of money. The present value of money is more important as the future value of money. That's called as time value of money. That's reason cash must be received immediately. Future is uncertain. Money gives interest. Then we have to see about the time value of money sums. Now we are going to see about time value of money. In time value of money, we have to calculate present value, future value. If you are calculating present value to future value means that is compounding method. If you are calculating future value to present value means that is called discounting method. In compounding, we have two methods to calculate the interest. First one is simple interest, then compound interest. Then we have to see the formula for the time value of money. Computation of maturity, future compound value means if the interest is compounded annually means the formula FV, that means future value equal to P into 1 plus R whole power n m. M means frequency of compounding. How many times we are getting the interest per year. If we are receiving the amount per year 12 times, that means monthly we are receiving the interest, or half yearly. Half yearly means we can receive the amount 2 times. 6 months once we will receive that interest rate. If we are receiving quarterly means 3 months once we will receive the interest. That means in per year we will receive 4 times that interest. So we have to calculate the formula based upon this one. If interest is compounded annually means future value equal to P into 1 plus R whole power n m. M equal to frequency of compounding, one time. If interest is compounded half yearly means future value equal to P into 1 plus R n m, frequency of compounding 2 times. If interest is compounded quarterly means FV equal to P into 1 plus R n m, frequency of compounding 4 times. If you are investing any money, how much years it will double? If we want to calculate that amount means we have to use the formula under rule 72. For that one, the formula 72 divided by rate of interest. Then we have to see the sums. Illustration 1. Mr. Ram makes an initial deposit of rupees 2 lakhs in SBI Bank. Interest is compounded at 10% per annum for 6 years. Compute the amount of maturity. We have to calculate the maturity amount for 2 lakhs deposits, interest rate 10% for 6 years. Then solution means computation of amount of maturity equal to FV P into 1 plus R n m. Rate of interest we can get annually. Principal equal to 2 lakhs. Rate of interest 10% per annum. Number of years 6 years. So 2 lakhs into, if we are calculating the percentage for 10 means 10 divided by 100, we can get the answer 0.10. Power of 6. 6 times we have to power this 0.110. We can get the answer 1.7716. If you are multiplying with the 2 lakhs, we can get the maturity amount 3,54,320. Then if interest is compounded half yearly means we can see the example sum for this one. Raj invests rupees 25,000 in a bank. Interest is compounded at 10% per annum for 5 years. Compute the amount of maturity for half yearly. Half yearly means we have to calculate the interest rate for 2 times. Computation of amount of maturity FV equal to P into 1 plus R whole power n m. Principal equal to 25,000. Rate of interest for 6 months 5% per annum. Frequency of compounding 12 divided by 6 equal to 2 times. 25 into 0.5. 5 into 2. 2 times. We have to calculate the 10 times 25,000 into 1.6289 rupees 40 lakhs 722.50 we can get as an maturity value. Then we have to see about the computation of maturity amount for multiple compounding period. For example sum, calculate the maturity amount if rupees 2 lakhs is invested for 2 years at 12% compounded annually, semi-annually, quarterly, monthly. We have to calculate the compound value amount or maturity amount for this sum. Solution. Computation of maturity amount if interest is compounded annually, FV equal to P into 1 plus R whole power NM. FV equal to future value or maturity amount. P equal to principal. That means in the sum 2 lakhs as given as a principal amount. R equal to rate of interest 12% rate of interest. N equal to number of years. For this sum 2 years is a for this sum. M equal to frequency of compounding. How many times we can get interest for this year? Only one time, because this is an annually we can get this amount. So FV equal to 2 lakhs into 1 plus 12% if we are calculating means 12 divided by 100 equal to we can get 0.12 whole power 2 into 1. 2 lakhs into 1.12 whole power 2. We can get the answer. That means the maturity compound value 2,50,880. If you are calculating interest compounded for semi-annually means rate of interest for 6 months, we have to take for calculation 6%. M equal to frequency of compounding 12 divided by 6 equal to 2 times 2 lakhs into 1 plus, if we are calculating 6% means 6 divided by 100 we can get 0.06. 2 years and 2 times we can get interest. So we have to multiply 2 into 2 4 times. 2 lakhs into 1.2625. We can get the maturity value for semi-annually 2,52,500. Then we are calculating if interest in compounded quarterly means rate of interest per quarter 3%. Frequency of compounding 12 divided by 3 equal to 4 times. So future value equal to 2 lakhs into 1 plus 0.03, 2 into 4. 2 lakhs into 1.03 power of 8. So we can get the maturity value for quarterly 2,53,360. Then we have to calculate the maturity amount for interest is compounded. If interest is compounded monthly, the rate of interest for 1 month 1%. M equal to frequency of compounding 12 divided by 1, 12 times we can get the interest for this one. So FV equal to 2 lakhs into 1 plus 0.10 divided by 100 equal to 1 divided by 100 equal to 0.01. We can get the answer 2 into 12 number of times we can receive the interest amount. So 2 lakhs into 24 times we can multiply the 1.01. We can get the compounding value for this monthly interest rupees 2,53,940. Then if you are calculating the doubling period method, if you are investing any amount, which year we can get the double the amount for this investing amount we can calculate through this amount. Calculate the rate of interest if the period of doubling of investment is 4 years, 6 years. In this sum they have calculate in which year, what is the percentage we will give if we are receiving that amount, doubling amount in 4 years means what is the rate of interest. If you are receiving in 6 years the doubling amount means what is the rate of interest we will give for this one. So we have to calculate for that one. Doubling period equal to 72 divided by rate of interest. Rate of interest equal to 72 divided by doubling period. If doubling period is 4 years, the rate of interest which is what is, we have to calculate that one. 72 divided by 4 equal to 18%. If we are giving 18% rate of interest, if you are investing that money, that will be comes for as a double the amount. For example, if you are investing 10,000 means we can get the, after 4 years we can receive the amount as 20,000 at the rate of interest 18%. If you are doubling the period in 6 years means what is the rate of percentage would come, we have to calculate that one. The rate of interest equal to 72 divided by 6 means we can get 12% rate of interest. If you are investing, for example, if you are investing 10,000 amount, after 6 years for the rate of interest 12%, we can get as a 20,000 as a doubling amount 1. Then computation of doubling period under rule 69. If you are applying the 69 rules, how can we calculate the doubling period? Calculate the doubling period using the rule of 69. If the interest is 6%, 9% and 12%. In this sum they have given the percentage rule, percentage also they have given. So we have to calculate how much years it will take for this amount would be converted as double. So we have to calculate how many years. In this sum we have to calculate how many years the sum would come as doubling amount. Doubling period equal to 0.35 plus 69 divided by rate of interest is the formula. So if you are applying for the first one, if rate of interest is 6%, doubling period equal to 0.35 plus 69 divided by 6 equal to 11.85 years, the amount would come as double the amount we can get. If we are investing 10,000 mean we can get the amount as 20,000. Then second one, if the rate of interest, if we are giving 9%, we have to calculate how many years it will take, the amount will come as double. Doubling period equal to 0.35 plus 69 divided by 9 equal to 8.02 years it will take. Third one, if the rate of interest is 12%, how many years it will take the amount to convert as double. Doubling period equal to 0.35 equal to 69 divided by 12 equal to 6.10 years it will take. In this sum we have to calculate computation of compound value under series of payment method. At the end of the 4 years, what is the rate of interest for this one? We have to calculate the compound value for each year. At the end of the 4th year, how much we can get as a compound value? We have to calculate in this sum. Calculate the sum is, calculate the future value of the following series of payment at the end of 4 years. Rate of interest is 9%. P equal to 1,500 at the end of the first year, 3,000 at the end of the second year, 4,500 at the end of the third year, 6,000 at the end of the fourth year. So we have to calculate interest for how much years. First we have to deduct that one. If you are investing 1,500 at the end of the first year means it would be retained for only 3 years. Second year, whole second year, third year and fourth year. So we have to calculate for the 3 for the whole power 3 for the first year. Then second year payment 3,000. 3 if you are investing second year also we are investing again 1,500. It would be 3,000 in the second year. Second year 3,000 means we have to calculate for third year and fourth year only. So we have to calculate for the 2 years. Then third year payment 4,500. Again you will invest 1,500. It will total amount we can get 4,500. Only it will have a 1 year only, full whole 1 year we have this amount. In the fourth year also again if you are investing 1,500, it would the amount 6,000 is a 10 year. No, we can calculate that amount. So the answer, first payment rupees 1,500 is invested for 3 years. Value of 1,500 after 3 years 1,500 into 1 plus 0. What is the rate of interest means 9%. 9 divided by 100 means we can get the answer 0.09. So whole power 3. If we are calculating this one, we can get the answer 1942.50. In the second year payment of rupees 3000 is invested for 2 years. We can get the 3000 into 1 plus 0.09 whole power 2. We can get the answer 3564.30. In the third year payment only 1 year, so we can get 4905. In the fourth year only 6000 only is the amount, so we can apply 6000 only totally. If you are adding all the series of payment, first year, second year, third year, fourth year, if you are adding the compound value at the end of the fourth year, we can get 16,411.80. Then computation of compound value. Then we have to calculate the amount compound value of annuity method. Calculate the maturity value of an annuity if rupees 20,000 is paid annually for 7 years at 12% compounded annually. Means what's the maturity value of annuity? Formula: annuity amount into 1 plus r minus 1 whole power n divided by rate of interest. Maturity value annuity equal to 20,000 into 1 plus 12 percentage. If your interest rate means we can calculate 12 divided by 100. We can get the answer 0.12 minus 1 divided by 0.12. We can get the answer 2,01,800 as a compounded annually for annuity method. In the next sum, we are going to see about the present value of annuity. Sujata has entered into an agreement that will fetch has rupees 60,000 per annum for the next 4 years. She wants to know the present value of the future cash inflows at 20% discount rate. Means we have to calculate present value of annuity equal to cash inflow into 1 divided by 1 plus r whole power n. So in the first year rupees 60,000 received after 1 year. PV equal to 1 divided by 1 plus interest rate 20 divided by 100. We can get 0.20 whole power 1. So we can get after 1 year 49,998. In the second year received the after 2 years means we have to multiple 2 whole power 2. So we can get 41,664. Third year received the 60,000 means we can get the answer 34,722. In the fourth year 60,000 received means we have to get the answer 28,938. We can calculate the present value of annuity method. Then we have to see the present value of perpetuity. A company has issued 10% preference shares of rupees 100 each. What would be the market price of the preference shares if the rate of interest for the investor is 8%? PV of constant perpetuity equal to formula is C divided by R 100 into 10 divided by 100. So C equal to cash flow, that is dividend per period rupees 10. Interest rate per payment of period 8% per annum. Hence market value of preference shares 10 divided by 8%. So 10 divided by 8 into 100 equal to 125. The investors will be ready to pay rupees 125 to purchase a preference shares and earn a dividend of 10% on its face value. Then a company has paid equity dividend of rupees 12 per share if profits and dividends are expected to grow in the growth method at 6%. Calculate the market price of an equity share if the rate of interest for the investor is 22%. So market price of the equity, present value of growing perpetuity equal to C divided by R G. In the method is growing perpetuity of present value method. This formula C divided by R minus G. So C equal to cash flow of dividend. In this sum they have given rupees 12. Or rate of interest 22%. Growth rate 6%. So we have to deduct the amount 22% minus 6. Growth rate we have to deduct that one. we can get 16%. So 12 divided by 16 into 100, we can get rupees 75. Then we have to see about the present value of growing annuity. Mr. Kamal has rented out a shop for 4 years at an annual rent of rupees 12,000. The tenant has agreed to the condition that the rate will increase by 10% every year. If the required rate of return is 8%, find out the present value of the expected series of rents. So compounding rent for 4 years, first year rent 12,000, then second year rent 12,000 into 110, because each and every year the rent will increase by 10%. In the second year we have to give 10% addition to this sum. 12%. In the second year we can get 100% increase. So we can calculate 12,000 into 110 divided by 100. So we get the rent amount 13,200 for the second year. In the third year also we have to increase by 10%. So in the 13,200 into 110 divided by 100, we can get the answer 14,520. In the fourth year we can get 14,520 into 110, we can get the answer 15,422. PV rate equal to 8%, 1 divided by 1 plus R equal to 1 divided by 1, 0.08, we can get the answer 0.926. In the same method, we can calculate statement showing PV of cash inflows rent. So yes, number of years, first, second, third, fourth years. First year cash inflow 12,000, second year 13,200, fourth year, third year 14,520, fourth year 15,972. In the PV ratio, present value also we can calculate the same amount, we will receive 45,693. Then we have to see about the sinking fund method. Rani Limited has issued debentures of rupees 20 lakhs to be repaid after 5 years. How much should the company invest in a sinking fund earnings 10% in order to be able to repay the debentures? Sinking fund invest into 1 minus R minus 1 divided by R. R is the rate of interest. So Rani Limited issued the debentures 20 lakhs. 20 lakhs means SF equal to 20 lakhs. 1 divided by the rate of interest 10%. So we can get 0.1. 1 plus 0.1 minus 1. We can get the answer divided by 0.1 equal to 20 lakhs. SF into 1.1 divided by 0.1 equal to 20 lakhs. SF equal to, we can get answer for sinking fund investment 20 lakhs divided by 6.1051. Therefore, the amount to be invested in sinking fund rupees 3,27,595. Then we can see about the risk and return. Risk is defined as the variability of the expected rate of return from the investment. Return is measured as a gain or profit expected at the time of making the investment. Risk return trade, investors will take an additional risk only if they anticipated higher return. Maximum risk means we can get maximum return. Minimum risk means we can get minimum return only for our investment. Okay, thank you all.